Hey team, so what we're going to talk about today is profit and loss. How do we maximize loss statement? What does that mean? When we talk about cost of goods, when we talk about labor, all this confusing jargon, what does it mean and how do we income for every organization? And so we're gonna dig deep into the profit and loss statement in terms of the vernacular, what the terms, and at the end of the day, what are those results indicative of, and how do we improve that? And the first thing when we look at profit and loss is we got to look at sales. So, you know, 20% of nothing is still nothing. So if you don't have sales, we have nothing. And in this situation, let's take a store. Let's say the store does $40,000 a month in sales. Well, what we have to do is we have to pay for that inventory, the raw ingredients, the yogurt, the sherbet, and the juice. Our goal is at the end is 30%. In this example, it's $14,000 to generate that revenue. We had to buy $14,000 in ingredients in order to get to that $40,000. Well, that's going to be 35% of our cost, 35% cost of goods. And so when you subtract the cost of goods within the sales, you get what's called gross profit, and which is $26,000. Well, now what we need to do is we need to take that $26,000 and we have to pay expenses associated with running a Keva Juice. And what are expenses? What do those look like? Well, there's two types. There's fixed and there's variable expenses. So they include things like rent, marketing, utilities, linen, credit card processing, printing, accounting, office supplies, your wages, the actual payroll. There's taxes. There's a lot of things that go involved in that get involved in expenses. And so if we add up all of our expenses, and let's say the expenses were $20,000 for the month, or 50% of our sales, which is pretty accurate. Your goal is to keep 50% of your operating expenses in line with that. And once you have that, you have net profit. So in this example, the store generated $6,000 to the bottom line. And the budget in this situation was $8,000. And so when you think of it, when you think of net profit, what does that contribute to? Well, there's investors that are involved in Keva Juice. Jennifer and I have a salary. We have the van. We have the runner. We're always investing in different equipment outside of Keva Juice. And the net profit is used to actually grow the organization and save that money for slower months like the winter, where if the store goes cash flow negative, we have to use those savings in order to get people through and maintain labor and maintain staffing. When you get back into the nitty-gritty of the profit and loss statement, we're really fighting for percentages. Our goal is to drop 20% here to the bottom line. And in order to do that, our cost of goods, which is a variable control, our labor, our wages, which is a variable control, have to be in line. So, if cost of goods goes over 10% and labor goes over 10%, you're putting your store in a cash flow negative, or it's losing money within the organization. And so there's a couple of tips that I encourage everybody to understand. The first one is it requires work. Managing cost of goods is not something that happens overnight. There are a lot of systems. There are a lot of tools. And if you go into your store and you ask a lot of questions about those Red Bull tools, there's the store profitability worksheet, there's the US Foods app, there's just basic keeping an eye on why did somebody order this. If you keep an eye on it and you're providing feedback and you're refining, you're working on selling more profitable smoothies, and selling blend-ins and things like that, you can lower the cost of goods percent. guy right here. And the other thing is just labor. Wasting labor. If it's slow, send people home. There's nothing wrong with that. We have a lot of situations here where team members don't want to work. They want time off. They want to go to the lake. And so don't be afraid to slow, and then let them know, like, look, when it's time to work, it's time to work. We've got 4 locations, a location in the convention center. We have a lot of events going on, and so there's a lot of opportunity to work, and you need to encourage your team when it's time to work, it's time to work, and to take advantage of those opportunities versus, hey, my long lost brother's, aunt's, cousin's, brother's, sister's friend, 30 years, can I have the week off? And it's 100 degrees out. The staff time to take it off. And so just a little bit about how our business works. And if you have any questions on that, let me know.